What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another cover of a Duran Duran song from the 1997 tribute album provided to me by Izzy. Shout out to Izzy. And we're going to listen to a cover of New Religion by Jimmy Eat World. It's a name I remember from the 90s. I believe they're a punk rock band, but it's interesting. I wanted to sort of confirm that memory because I don't have any experience of listening to them directly as far as I know. And when I looked them up on Wikipedia, they are listed as an alternative rock band, so I don't know if that's a style that they've sort of approached in more recent times or whether that was always part of their flavor even going back to the 90s. So I imagine this tune might give us a hint, but ultimately, as I said, my memory of the name is that they came from the punk rock world. So again, maybe in more recent times they've brought in some different flavors of rock, but I expect this to have a pop punk or sort of punk rock more generally kind of feel. So yeah, we'll see what it's all about, but I do enjoy the original, obviously. I've reacted to the studio version, which first got blocked, and then eventually I reacted to a couple live versions which weren't blocked, so indeed, I reacted to one recently where John, as I realize now, at the time I thought it was Simon, but where John kind of talks about this song briefly and saying, a lot of people need New Religion, maybe me less than you. It was a sort of amusing moment. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what to expect other than maybe punk rock, perhaps blended with alternative rock, but I guess we'll find out. This is Jimmy Eat World's cover of New Religion from a 1997 Duran Duran tribute album. Somber sort of mood. really interesting. Again, I thought it would have more of a punk rock flavor, but I guess, their style back in the 90s was a sort of alternative rock kind of sort of color, at least, within a punk rock sound. So yeah, or maybe I'm just misremembering. Maybe they weren't so much punk rock and they really were just a more straight away alternative rock group. But yeah, that felt more like, let's say, Weezer and or Soundgarden, who I realize those two bands have a different sound. But yeah, ultimately there were moments where I was thinking of a track, like Black Hole Sun, but then there were other moments where it felt like a Weezer tune, with the way they can go sort of really kind of soft and emotional and quiet, and then just boom, in comes those heavy guitars. So yeah, it ultimately made me think of a couple alternative rock groups that I know from the 90s. I know Soundgarden isn't around anymore. Nevertheless, yeah, it's an interesting track and one that was very different than I expected, but I really liked it. I love the emotion of it. It had, a heavier feel, more solemn, kind of sad feel compared to the original. So yeah, maybe a tune that, in different ways, it's funny, because some of the punk rock ones we listened to, they took a tune from Duran in a different direction, or did something different with it. But when I say that for this one, I mean something very different than I did for those sort of punk and ska versions. So yeah, really interesting tune. I hate that she just crawled into my lap, because now I have to pick her up and I seem like a jerk. So I apologize, Luca. I hope you have a good day and a good night. Do let me know, what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.